Welcome to our deep dive today. We're going to explore just how much influence the United States has on the world.
Okay.
You've sent us some really interesting articles and notes,
Yeah.
and we're excited to unpack it all.
Absolutely.
I think it's safe to say the U.S. isn't just another country.
Right.
It has a huge impact on everything from economics and culture to tech and even the military.
It's true. What's interesting is that the U.S.'s influence isn't always obvious.
Yeah,
It's not just about big news stories.
right.
It's woven into the fabric of our lives in ways we might not even realize.
Right. Like when we talk about the U.S. economy being the largest in the world,
Yeah.
it's easy to get lost in that fact.
Mm-hmm.
But think about this. A quarter of all the goods and services produced in the entire world come from the United States.
It's a lot.
That means there's a good chance your smartphone,
Oh, yeah.
your clothes,
For sure.
even the coffee you had this morning were on a journey that was shaped by the American economy.
Definitely.
It's mind-blowing.
Absolutely. And that economic power translates to real-world effects.
Right.
Take, for example, something as seemingly simple as the price of goods.
Okay.
Global trade, which the U.S. heavily influences, plays a huge role in determining how much you pay for everything,
Wow.
from groceries to electronics.
Yeah, that's true.
And don't forget about job opportunities.
Yeah.
Many companies, even right in your local area, are connected to international supply chains or markets that are directly impacted by what's happening in the American economy.
Okay, so it's like a ripple effect.
That is.
And speaking of ripples, our sources delve into some specific sectors that are driving a lot of this economic activity.
Yeah,
Silicon Valley, for example.
of course.
It's practically synonymous with innovation and technological advancement.
Right.
We all know the big names, Apple, Google, Facebook.
Huge.
But it's more than just companies.
Right.
These giants have revolutionized how we communicate,
Mm-hmm.
how we consume information,
Yeah.
how we live our lives.
Yes, and it's important to look beyond just the names and logos.
Okay.
The source material dives into the concept of platform capitalism, which is fascinating.
Okay.
These companies like Google and Facebook aren't just providing services, they're building platforms that collect and leverage user data on a massive scale.
Right.
That data becomes incredibly powerful and influential in ways we're only beginning to understand.
It's true.
Yeah.
Think about how much time you spend online,
Oh, yeah.
how much information you share,
Oh, for sure.
even unknowingly.
Definitely.
It's all part of this massive ecosystem that these companies have created.
Exactly. And this brings up a crucial point.
Okay.
How do we balance the incredible innovation and convenience that these companies offer
Right.
with the potential risks to privacy and individual liberties? It's something we'll all need to be mindful of as we navigate this digital landscape.
Definitely. And our sources don't shy away from those questions either.
Yeah.
There are contrasting viewpoints presented,
Mhm.
with some arguing that Silicon Valley prioritizes profit and innovation over user privacy,
Right.
while others believe the benefits outweigh the risks.
It's hard to say.
It's a complex debate,
Definitely.
and one that will continue to unfold as technology evolves.
For sure.
But for now, let's shift gears and talk about another area where the U.S. has a huge impact: Wall Street.
Oh, Wall Street.
The New York Stock Exchange isn't just a building in New York.
Right.
It's a global financial hub.
Huge.
Decisions made on Wall Street can send shockwaves through markets worldwide.
That's right.
Right. And for our listeners, this isn't just about abstract financial concepts.
No.
It directly ties into things like your investments, your retirement planning,
Yeah.
the overall stability of the financial systems we all rely on.
Absolutely.
What happens on Wall Street doesn't stay on Wall Street.
Precisely. And to understand how this works, we need to delve a bit deeper.
Okay.
For example,
Yeah.
when the Federal Reserve in the U.S. adjusts interest rates, it can trigger a cascade of effects on international capital flows.
Wow.
This influences everything from currency exchange rates to the cost of borrowing money for businesses around the world.
Wow. That's a lot more complex than just watching the stock ticker go up and down.
It certainly is, and it highlights how interconnected our global financial systems are.
Yeah.
But let's not forget that even with its economic dominance, the U.S. isn't without its challenges.
Right. Our sources point out some serious issues like economic inequality and the national debt,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
which are having a profound impact on American society.
And these challenges aren't just contained within U.S. borders.
Right.
They can have spillover effects on the global economy and even influence policy decisions in other countries.
It's true. We've seen how economic downturns in the U.S. can have global repercussions.
Yeah.
And as the U.S. grapples with these internal issues, It can impact its ability to lead on the world stage,
Hmm.
to forge trade agreements,
Right.
to provide aid to other nations.
Yeah.
It's a complex interplay of factors.
Absolutely. So as we move on to our next topic,
Okay.
I want to leave you with this thought.
Right.
The U.S. economy is undeniably a global powerhouse.
Yeah.
But understanding its complexities, its strength, and its weaknesses is crucial for all of us, no matter where we live.
I agree.
But for now, let's transition from the world of finance to something a bit more vibrant, American culture.
Here's where things get really interesting,
Okay.
because we're not just talking about what's happening within the United States,
Right.
but how American culture has permeated every corner of the globe.
That's true.
Movies, music, food, fashion,
Yeah.
even social movements. It's a cultural force that's hard to ignore.
And it's important to recognize that Hollywood's influence goes way beyond just entertainment.
Oh, for sure.
The source material delves into how movies and TV shows produced in the U.S. can shape perceptions, stereotypes, and even entire fashion trends around the world.
Right.
It's a powerful form of soft power.
It's true.
Yeah.
How many times have you seen a movie or TV show set in New York City and felt like you were right there,
Yeah.
even if you've never been?
That's a good point.
Or found yourself humming a song that originated in the U.S.?
Yeah.
It's all around us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the source material provides some great examples of how this cultural influence plays out in the real world.
Okay.
Think about the global reach of music icons like Elvis Presley or Beyoncé.
Oh, yeah. Huge.
Their music transcends geographical boundaries and connects people across generations.
It does.
Or consider the global presence of brands like McDonald's and Starbucks. They've become practically ubiquitous.
They really have.
Symbols of American culture that are instantly recognizable no matter where you go.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's amazing to think about how these brands and even music icons have become so intertwined with our daily lives.
Yeah.
And it's not always a positive thing either, is it?
Right. That brings up a really interesting point from our source material,
Okay.
a concept of cultural homogenization. As American culture spreads, it can sometimes lead to a sense of sameness,
Yeah.
a blurring of cultural boundaries.
Right.
Is that a good thing? Does it lead to a richer, more interconnected world?
Right.
Or does it risk diminishing the unique traditions and identities of different cultures?
It's a tough question.
It's a complex question,
Yeah,
and one worth pondering.
definitely. And it's not just about brands and music.
Right.
Our source material also highlights how social movements originating in the U.S. have had a profound impact on a global scale.
Yes. Think about movements like Black Lives Matter or the push for gender equality. These originated in the U.S., but quickly gained momentum worldwide,
Yeah.
sparking important conversations and inspiring action far beyond American borders.
Right.
It highlights the power of ideas to transcend geographical boundaries and connect people around shared values.
It's like these movements tapped into something universal,
Yeah.
a desire for justice and equality that resonates with people all over the world. And social media, which, let's be honest, is largely dominated by American companies,
Right.
played a huge role in amplifying those messages and mobilizing people across continents.
Absolutely. Social media has become this incredibly powerful tool for connecting people and spreading ideas.
Yeah.
But it's also important to remember that it's a double-edged sword.
Right.
The same platforms that can be used to promote positive social change can also be used to spread misinformation and sow division.
That's a good point. It's like we're still figuring out how to navigate this digital landscape
Yeah,
and harness the power of social media for good while mitigating the potential risks.
that's right.
But speaking of powerful forces, let's move on to another area where the U.S. has an undeniable impact: technology.
Okay.
I mean, Silicon Valley is practically synonymous with innovation at this point, right?
It's true. The U.S. has been at the forefront of technological advancements for decades.
Yeah.
And that innovation isn't just about creating cool gadgets.
Right.
It's about developing technologies that have the potential to transform industries,
Right.
solve complex problems, and even shape the future of humanity.
Right. Our sources highlight some incredible examples like Microsoft, Amazon, and Tesla, companies that are revolutionizing how we work, how we shop,
For sure.
and even how we get around with electric cars and autonomous driving technology.
Yeah, that's right.
And let's not forget about the ongoing research and development in fields like artificial intelligence,
Yeah,
biotechnology, and clean energy solutions.
it's amazing.
These are areas where the U.S. is leading the charge, and the implications are global.
What's fascinating is how quickly these technologies are evolving.
Right?
And how interconnected they are.
Yeah.
For example, advancements in artificial intelligence are being applied to everything from healthcare and finance to transportation and manufacturing.
Right.
It's a technological revolution that's happening right before our eyes.
It is.
And the U.S. is at the epicenter.
It's almost like science fiction becoming reality.
Yeah.
And speaking of pushing boundaries, what about space exploration?
What?
NASA and SpaceX are pushing the limits of human ingenuity, reigniting that sense of wonder and exploration that's so deeply embedded in our nature.
It's inspiring, isn't it?
It is.
To think that we're sending rovers to Mars, launching telescopes that can peer billions of years into the past.
I know, it's amazing.
And even talking about establishing a human presence on the moon again.
Right.
It's a testament to human ambition and our thirst for knowledge.
It makes you wonder what the future holds.
Yeah.
What incredible discoveries are just around the corner.
It's hard to even imagine.
But as with any powerful technology, there are ethical considerations to keep in mind.
Oh, for sure.
Our source material cautions us about the potential downsides of artificial intelligence, concerns about data privacy, and the growing power of these giant tech companies.
Absolutely. These aren't just technical challenges.
Right.
They're societal challenges that require careful consideration and thoughtful debate.
Right.
How do we ensure that these technologies are used ethically and responsibly?
Yeah, that's a big question.
How do we prevent the concentration of power in the hands of the few? These are questions we all need to be asking ourselves.
It's like we need to be proactive in shaping the future we want to ensure that these technological advancements benefit all of humanity, not just a select few.
Absolutely.
But for now, let's shift our focus to another arena where the U.S. wields considerable influence: politics.
Okay.
U.S. politics, with its two-party system of Democrats versus Republicans,
Right.
often seems like a world unto itself.
Yeah, it does.
But it's important to remember that decisions made in Washington, D.C. have ripple effects that extend far beyond American borders.
That's right. U.S. elections are global news events for a reason.
They are.
The policies of the U.S. president can have a profound impact on everything from trade agreements and military alliances to global responses to climate change.
And our sources delve into some key issues that are constantly debated in U.S. politics,
Yeah.
issues that have global implications.
For
Healthcare, for example. It's a hot-button issue in the U.S.
It is?
But access to affordable, quality healthcare is a fundamental concern for people all over the world.
That's true.
And then there's immigration, a topic that's often fraught with emotion and political maneuvering.
Yeah.
It's not just about who gets to live in the U.S. It's about the lives of people seeking a better life, the economies of the countries they come from,
Yeah.
the social and cultural dynamics at play,
Yeah.
the complex issue with no easy answers.
Definitely. And we can't forget about climate change.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
The ultimate global challenge that requires international cooperation and bold action.
Absolutely.
The U.S., as a major emitter of greenhouse gases and a global leader, has a crucial role to play in shaping international climate policy and driving innovation in clean energy solutions.
It's like the whole world is watching to see what the U.S. will do,
I think so.
what kind of leadership it will provide.
Yeah.
And speaking of institutions that have a global impact, what about the Supreme Court?
The Supreme Court?
It might seem like a very American institution, but its rulings can often have ripple effects that extend far beyond U.S. borders.
That's right. The Supreme Court's rulings on issues like abortion,
Yeah.
gun control, and even campaign finance can spark debates and influence legal precedents in other countries.
Right.
It's a reminder that even domestic policy decisions can have international implications.
It's fascinating how interconnected everything is.
Yeah.
How decisions made in one part of the world can have consequences that ripple outward, influencing events and shaping perspectives on a global scale.
For sure.
But one thing that concerns me, and our sources touch on this, is the growing polarization in American politics.
Oh, yeah. That's a big one.
It seems like the two major parties are becoming more and more divided. And that can make it difficult to find common ground and tackle these complex challenges.
You're right to be concerned.
Yeah.
This political divide isn't just an internal American matter. It can impact the U.S.'s ability to effectively engage with the rest of the world, to build alliances, to find solutions to shared problems.
It's like the world needs the U.S. to be a strong and stable leader. But that leadership is being tested by this internal division.
It is a tough situation for sure.
And that brings us to our final and perhaps most sensitive topic, the U.S. military.
The U.S. military is without a doubt the most powerful in the world.
Yeah.
Its budget is larger than the next 10 countries combined,
Wow.
and its global reach is unmatched.
It's a daunting statistic.
Yeah.
Our sources point out that the U.S. has hundreds of military bases located all over the planet.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
It's a massive global presence, and it raises all sorts of questions about the role of the U.S. as a global superpower, the potential for unintended consequences, and the financial burden of maintaining such a vast military apparatus.
And it's not just about sheer size and numbers.
Yeah.
The U.S. is also at the forefront of military technology, constantly developing new weapon systems. Drones, cybersecurity capabilities, and even space defense systems. Wow. It's a rapidly evolving landscape, and the implications for global security are profound.
It's almost like a science fiction movie come to life.
It really is.
But as with any powerful technology, there are ethical questions that need to be addressed.
Absolutely. The use of drones, for example, raises complex questions about targeted killings,
Right.
civilian casualties, and the blurring of lines between warfare and law enforcement.
Yeah, it's tough.
And the development of autonomous weapon systems where machines are making life or death decisions raises even more profound ethical concerns.
It's like we're entering uncharted territory, and we need to be incredibly careful about how we navigate these ethical dilemmas.
We do, and our sources also remind us that the legacy of past military interventions like the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan continues to shape debates about the role of the U.S. military in the world.
Right.
The human cost of these conflicts, the financial burden, and the geopolitical consequences are still being grappled with.
It's a sobering reminder that military power is a complex and weighty issue.
Definitely.
One that should be approached with caution and careful consideration.
Indeed. As we conclude this part of our deep dive, I want to leave you with this thought.
Right.
The U.S. military is undoubtedly a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
But understanding its capabilities, its limitations, and the ethical implications of its use is crucial for all of us, regardless of our nationality.
I agree.
It's a conversation we need to be having as informed citizens of the world.
Wow. I don't know about you, but
Yeah.
my head is spinning a little after all of that.
It's a lot to take in.
We've covered so much ground, from the economic engine of Wall Street to the global reach of Hollywood, the incredible advancements coming out of Silicon Valley, the complexities of U.S. politics, and the sheer power of the military.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's clear that the U.S. has a massive impact on the world, but it's not a simple black and white picture.
What strikes me is how interconnected all of these different aspects are.
Yeah.
You know, economic decisions influence political policies. Cultural trends shape technological innovation, and military power plays a role in how the U.S. is perceived on the global stage.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating and sometimes daunting web of influence.
It's like we've been piecing together a giant complex puzzle.
Yeah.
We're starting to see how all the pieces fit together, but one of the biggest takeaways for me is this.
Okay.
The U.S. has immense power and influence,
Mm-hmm.
but that comes with a huge responsibility.
It does.
And it's not just a responsibility for those in positions of power,
Mm-hmm.
politicians, CEOs, military leaders, and it's a responsibility for all of us.
I completely agree. As citizens, not just of our own countries, but
What?
of this interconnected world, we have a responsibility to be informed, engaged, and critical thinkers.
We do.
We need to understand how the decisions made in Washington,
Right.
the innovations coming out of Silicon Valley, the cultural trends that shape our world, how all of these things impact our lives and the lives of people around the globe.
And that's why deep dives like this are so important.
I think so.
We need to go beyond the headlines, beyond the sound bites, and really delve into the complexities of these issues.
That's right.
The more we understand about how the U.S. operates on a global scale, the better equipped we are to participate in shaping a future that benefits everyone.
Here's a final thought I want to leave you with.
Okay.
The U.S. will undoubtedly continue to play a major role in shaping the 21st century.
I agree.
Whether you agree with its policies or not, whether you admire its culture or find it overwhelming, the reality is that understanding its strengths and its weaknesses is crucial for navigating the future no matter where you live or what your role in the world may be.
It's not about blind patriotism or knee-jerk criticism. It's about informed engagement,
Right.
about asking tough questions,
For sure.
challenging assumptions, and forming our own opinions based on a solid understanding of the facts.
I agree.
And that's where you come in, dear listener. Don't let this be the end of your exploration.
Keep learning.
Use the sources you shared with us as a jumping-off point. Dive deeper into the topics that sparked your curiosity, explore different perspectives,
Yeah.
and most importantly, continue to learn and engage with the world around you.
We live in an extraordinary time, a time of unprecedented interconnectedness, rapid technological advancement, and complex global challenges.
We do.
Navigating this world requires us to be informed, engaged citizens willing to learn, to question, and to contribute to shaping a future that is both just and sustainable.
So keep learning, keep exploring, and keep questioning.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what makes us human, and that's what will ultimately lead us to a better future. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It was great to be here.
We'll catch you next time for another fascinating exploration.